Transcripts and recordings of the podcast may not be used for any purpose without the direct written permission of the podcast owner. Welcome to Light It Up, a podcast about resilient women balancing motherhood, their careers, personal lives, and all of the challenges that come along with being a superwoman. Each week, you'll be motivated to take action, to lead, inspire, transform, and empower. Now, here's your host, Dr. Aginah Musherah. Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Light It Up. I am your host, Dr. Aginah Musherah. I am so excited about this week's episode because we are still in Women's History Month, and I told you guys that this month I am highlighting all of these phenomenal Black women with businesses so that you can support them, but also more importantly, because I think that they all have something to share that you will find beneficial in your life. So today, my guest is Tameika Hinton, who is the owner and operator of Meika's. She's been in business for well over 25 years. And I'm just going to say this, we're going to have a great conversation because she is going to talk to us about uh, overall health and wellness through cleaning, sanitizing, space management, the whole gamut. And I will say this as a working mom. Um, I have what I call organized chaos, and we'll talk about that. But Mika is going to talk to us about her business, give us some tips, and share some things with us that we probably will find beneficial to our overall health and wellness. So, welcome to Light It Up, Tameika. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for having me. I am looking so forward to having this conversation, being able to teach some different things and techniques to your listeners and viewers, and just make a little bit more of awareness of some things that we'll probably discuss today.
All right, awesome. Well, and let me give a disclaimer because I always do this on the podcast. I tell folks, now we don't have a long history of knowing each other, but we are a part of the Chicagoland Mom Squad. So I got to give props to Tanil Jackson because had it not been for her, we probably would not have connected.
Yes.
So been, seeing each other on social media. We had an opportunity to be in the same space together. And so glad that you are able to join me today. So why don't we just jump right into it? Just curious to know, you are the owner operator of Meika's, and how did you get started in your entrepreneurial journey? And was there any type of transition? Because I hear a lot from entrepreneurs talking about how they just weren't satisfied in the previous, positions that they were in and wanted to do something, especially with working moms, trying
Hmm.
to find ways to still be there to support their family, but also be able to be involved in their children's lives. So I'm just curious, how did you get started with Meika's? What was the driving force for you going into business and launching a business that's focusing on cleaning, organizing homes and businesses?
Okay. So yes, mine was kind of like a alignment. I was designing kitchens and bathrooms. So again, part of the homes, a very important part. And I was just not getting the hours that I needed. So I started asking other contractors if they need assistance with certain things. And one contractor was like, yes, I need somebody, I need a wife. And I was like, what? Wait, I can't get married. I don't want to get married. He was like, okay, I need somebody to help me be more domesticated. And so I said, okay, I can assist with that. And he said, okay, well, can you come weekly? I need somebody to cook for me. I need someone to organize for me, and I need someone to clean. He said, I'm eating out a lot and I'm not liking it. I'm gaining weight. It's unhealthy. And when it comes to just the cleanest, I'm overwhelmed when I come home. I'm too tired to take care of these things. And when it comes to the organizing, I'm just dumping things and just leaving it. And so I don't like how my space is looking either. And so he hired me. And then his girlfriend, she ended up hiring me. And then she told her mom. And so I've always been in like sales or anything. So I seen the opportunity right there. I went to a good friend that I worked in business with over the years to design a card. And so I had this card. And so as I still had this job working part time as designing kitchens and bathrooms, I also was in real estate in past years too. And so I saw a Rio agent, and this Rio agent had a cart full of lock boxes. And so I recognized that that was the opportunity that they either owned a lot of different properties or that they were managing a gang of properties. And so that's what it was. She was managing a lot of different properties. And she had about 200 properties that needed to be cleaned for real estate. And so she gave me an offer of, can you start today? I was like, no. Can you start tomorrow? I'm like, no. And so I lived in Maryville, Indiana. A man-made lake was behind our complex. It flooded. My complex was on the front page of the paper. Took that to HR, asked for a leave of absence at my job. They granted it, called the lady in the bathroom. I'm available, and never looked back. And it has been such a roller coaster.
Wow. So what would you say? I mean, in this particular instance, I would say you mentioned alignment, and that certainly was an alignment. Did you have any? I don't think you had time to be afraid. So many times when we're contemplating entrepreneurship, we talk ourselves out of just doing it. But
Mhm.
would you say that this was a perfect alignment? So you didn't really have time to be afraid, but it was more of an opportunity for you to.
Yeah, there was no fear. It was more of an opportunity. I have a background of all sales, so every job that I've had in the past has been how I showed up. What did I do to produce the funding? I've always made more in my actual stipends or spiffs than I did hourly a lot of different times. So that wasn't any fear of just being a salesperson, showing up and meeting new people. I think with me, it was more so of getting the team aligned and getting more people who are passionate, because what I what I didn't mention to you is that I had been cleaning as a teenager. The senior citizens homes on my grandmother's block. My grandmother was strict on chores. I was the only kid in the household, so I had to do something 5 days out of the week, sometimes six on Saturdays, and I would get my money on Sunday before I went to church.
Okay.
So that was the routine that was required, and she was very meticulous about how she wanted the house clean. She's a meticulous lady, and it was her way, and that's it. There's no disputes about it. There's no going outside. There's no cutting corners. Even if you thought she was cutting corners, she was going to have you do it the right way. So that was again alignment. It was already planted in me of not me knowing what it was. So I've always been that type of person who is open to kind of follow the lead of what feels right, what's going right for me, and it's been doing quite well for me up to now. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Now there was something that you mentioned. I kind of chuckled to myself when you said that the contractor said that he needed a wife. And
Hmm.
I think we all need wives then, if that's the case.
Yes, I agree.
But I'm actually glad when I think about it that because you shared that he was saying like I don't have time, you
Mhm.
know, presumably with his work schedule, he had time to come home and cook and clean and organize, etc. You would think that more people would understand what we as mothers go through when we're trying
Exactly.
to, balance it all. Um, what are your thoughts about, because I struggled, I will say this, I struggled at one point in time in my life with having someone come into my home to, clean or what have you. And I remember the very first time that I had someone to clean my home. I was living in the city. I was pregnant with my twins, but I was on bed rest. So clearly, physically, I could not do it.
Mhm.
And my husband at the time, he was working a lot. And quite frankly, I didn't even want him washing clothes because he would just put everything together. There was no sorting. Um, but what would you say sometimes in our community? I'll say this, at least this has been my experience because I remember saying to my mother, I'm gonna get somebody to clean my house.
And what she say?
You don't need to pay somebody to clean your house. You can clean your own house. And then let's not talk about the children. I don't know what kind of parenting we're doing, but that strictness about cleaning a certain way and making sure your chores are done, I
We
think
lost it.
we've lost it. Yes. But what do you say about that whole idea that that's something that we shouldn't do? Like we shouldn't have someone to come in to
I'm gonna do this right here. Take that cape off. Take the cape off. Um, the way of the world, the way of family structure is totally different now. As women, as fathers, as parents, as households, even as children, we are busy. We are filling our calendars up. We are making time slots for everything other than what we should within our home. So, because of that, a lot of times we really don't have that time to do so. And then sometimes your time is more valuable to be able to delegate it. So I say to most people is take the cape off. You can't do everything. And because you try to do everything, that's where it becomes you're overwhelmed. That's when it becomes you are bitter inside of the household with your mates because you ain't wash the dishes, you ain't wash the dishes, everybody's finger pointing. So it's
Yeah,
just even like how I got started with the man, he was looking for a wife, but he also did what? Refer me to his girlfriend. So
right.
again, it was a thing of that they were both in alignment that we're busy, we're in our careers, and we would rather delegate this service because once again, it's more valuable to give it to a professional to do it than to sit there and do it yourself. Because
Mm,
when you're familiar with your own place, I don't know about you, even me as a professional, I
mm.
can start cleaning up and then I'll get sidetracked. And
Yes.
then once I get sidetracked, the sidetrack becomes more sidetracked. And then now it's like, I did not get finished with what I intended to do. So when you hire a professional, it's
Mm,
not that choice. They're coming in for that time slot to do what? Take care of those needs.
right.
So it's easier to hire somebody into doing that. And then it's okay. You know, like you said, your mom, you don't need nobody to clean your house. And that's what most of our parents will say, our grandparents will say. Even my grandmother, she was like, child, I used to clean houses too, and people will pay, but I was up north. You know, you got people out south paying. I was like, yes. She was like, child, because I was all the way up north dealing with all other kind of people, and it wasn't popular. And so what I told her was, my service, I built it not to be for everybody. So, I'm not the reachable type of service base neither. I like to be aligned with my customers. I like
Mm,
my customers to know what they're getting, what they're receiving, and how I operate. So I don't use certain chemicals. I don't
mhm,
care if you're paying me. It's my
mhm,
choice because at the end of the day, I know what I know, and so I don't want to serve in that type of arena.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, taking that cape off and then understanding that it's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay. It's the same thing as stopping at a fast food restaurant to grab lunch. How are you guilty that you didn't cook? How are
Right.
you guilty that you went grocery shopping and you
Mm,
got all these groceries, but you still stop at the fast food restaurant,
right.
not just for yourself, but everybody in the household, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. What can I do to make life better for me and my family?
Now, what would for a person who's, trying to take the cape off, man or woman? So, uh, what if folks wanted to reach out to you for services? Like, do you come in and do an assessment first? Because again, I heard alignment. which means that you can be selective with the type of clientele that you have. So, what does that look like? Do you do an assessment first? You all have a meeting to determine whether or not this will be a good fit.
Yes, that's exactly what I do. I do have an assessment, and during that time, I'm seeing their space. Um, I'm I'm a visionary. I have a natural gift of a visionary. So a lot of times my clients are like, "Oh my God, how did you know this? How did you know that?" Another thing is I'm very attentive. That's why I was able to design things. I pay attention to detail. So it's the same thing of the type of clients that I have. I'm able to pay attention of their lifestyle, their children's lifestyle. So yes, I have to do a consultation. I do a walkthrough. I'm meeting the kids as well, the dog, like everybody that lives in the household, just to see if this is a good fit. Reason being is I don't like to be looked upon as the maid. I want to look upon as being the person that is assisting you. And so in assistance meaning that how can I help you
Right.
get better? How can I help you do better? If you are, if I'm a maid, I'm just there to do a job and it's the same job and nothing is changing. So I like clients who are looking for a change in their life. If that's downsizing, if that means that they're becoming a new mom, they're welcoming another baby. If that means that you're just getting older, if you're going through life and life is changing for you. So if that means that you're going through a divorce, if you're downsizing because hey, I lived in this house and I'm an empty nester, like I like those type of clients because um what I have experienced with myself is that when you are looking for change, it's more gratifying. So
Yeah.
I like those clients that this will bring them gratification in another sense, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. And just to also, because my wheels are turning, because I'm thinking about I've been through a divorce. I went from having a house that was X number of square feet to another square footage, missing my closet space, but it's also
Hmm.
been 11 years that I've been divorced too. But just thinking about like the things that you accumulate and
Yes.
either not wanting to part. Like, I wouldn't consider myself to be a hoarder by any figment of the imagination. However, just thinking about when my son and daughter graduated from high school 2 years ago, like I bought all this stuff to prepare for their send off, right? So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep this so when they graduate, now they're halfway through college holding on to this stuff? Or
Hmm.
why do I still have all of these college acceptance letters? Because I had this plan to make a scrapbook. They don't care. You know what I
and that and that's when that's when it really clicks as a parent too,
mean?
from yourself, that you still got that tote, you still got those
Yeah.
things at mom house, and
Yeah.
then now you got your kids that you made these things. It starts with the preschool. Oh,
Right.
look at that drawing. Oh, it starts with the first haircut. Oh, this was your first curly lock. This is your first tooth that fell out. And then you tell your kids you saved all this. They like, what? They may off for a minute, then the next thing you know, they done left out. You're like, well, this was for you. And they like, oh, it was. Well, I'm gonna let that stay right there. Then they on the phone with their girl. My mama is crazy. She got all this stuff going out my childhood. And I mean, it's cute, it's nice, but I'm not bringing that stuff in my house. And then now what did you do? You stuck with it. And now you showing now the grandkids done came. Now you
Yeah.
showing the grandkids. So it's again, it's just that always constant need of wanting to cherish those memories, but hold on to them, and then feeling guilty if you let it go until it comes to the point of time to move.
Mm,
When it comes to the point of time to downsize, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, is it the tote of stuff that is from childhood, or is it the tote full of these dishes that we need right now?
Right.
When you really have to make those choices, it's like, all right, let me just go through this. And it's a detachment. Everybody has their own issues of detachment. And
Mm,
and so again, everything that I deal with my clients, I feel the same way about things. Some of them, when it goes to like the closet you said, I'm like, Oh my God, I am also a recovering shopaholic. Like I love this. Like in my one house, I had a closet for this, and I had a closet for that, and I had this
Mm,
for this, and this and that. And now the life changed, so I downsized. So I can help you, like for real, genuinely, because
mm,
I had to do the same thing.
right.
My weight fluctuated,
Mm,
and we had it was years ago, we did something with Chicagoland Mom Squad. A family had lost all their belongings, and I had all these bags of clothes that was this 7 and 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I was like, I'm gonna get back to that size, and I'm gonna wear these clothes. And when that fire happened and his mom didn't have everything, I was like, I'm not going to get back into this. And if I do, this is somebody else that needs this right now. So why keep this
mm,
packed up in these bags, saying
mhm,
I'm going to get back to it? Let me just get rid of it.
right.
And so that helped me get rid of so many things because it was a greater cause and a greater need for somebody else.
Mhm.
So that's the thing of just, we got to let it go. And we all be like, I don't own too much or nothing. And then when you start going through it, you be like, I got that many pair of earrings. Oh, I did not know that. Or
Yeah.
I got that many t-shirts.
Oh, I feel seen right about now because the t-shirts, yeah, that's I can use this to work out or
Yep.
to,
I
yeah.
can use this for the grocery store. I can use this for the month of this. Well, I don't work at this place no more, but they was just a great job. And then look at this shirt. This is a good screen. This is a good screen print, girl. They don't make it like this no more. And
Right.
so it's just all these different excuses that we make up in our heads until we're forced to
Mm,
really say, I want my house back. Because what I also explain to people is this stuff is taking up space, but it's also occupying the space in your mental,
yeah.
because it's now making you be what, anxious, your anxiety, you're overwhelmed.
Mm,
Um, just recently I had a client where she was like, I don't have no room for nothing. And I was like, really? And then when I did my analysis, I said, well, what's this? I opened a drawer. Oh, well, this is this. I said, well, do you wear this stuff? No. Well, that's why you don't have no room for nothing. The stuff that you're wearing is outside of the drawers,
mm,
outside of the closet, and all the stuff that's in the closet and drawers, you're not even wearing. It's an easy fix, but it's not, because it's money. I
right.
paid for this. I spent money on this. I didn't wear it just yet.
Mhm.
Especially when we had an impulse shopping, it's a
Mhm.
sale, and then you
Mm,
got a coupon to stack on top of it. How
mm.
can I not buy this shirt? But you really don't have no pants to go with it. You don't have no dress, no skirt to go with it. You don't have no shoes to go with it. So now it's just a shirt that one day I'm gonna get to this shirt.
I feel seen right now.
It's okay. See how much we got in common though, across the world.
Right. So what does that look like? You come in, you make the assessment, and then so if someone, and it's not just, I guess one thing I should point out, it's not just residential. You also work with businesses as well in terms of the organizational,
Hmm.
aspect and cleaning things of that nature. But when you're working with your clients, do you if it's a case of organizing, do you work with them to say, okay, do they have to sit with you to determine what they need and what they don't need? You say,
Everybody that works with me with organizing, you have to go through the process with me. For one, I don't know what you like and what you don't like. Because leave it up to me, it can all go.
yeah.
It can all go. Um, Only times where people may not stay with me is like maybe they're in a certain size, and so we know this, if it's not this size, I don't want it anymore. Another thing is if it is a point where maybe it's not clothes, because we think of clothes as organizing, but then it comes to kitchen organization, it comes to pantry organization. So when it comes to space management with me, it's space management entirely. I also do project management. So again, somebody may be flipping their place where I've been in this place for 25, 30 years. However, I want to get tenants in here. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I'm recreating that whole space for them, to get it together to either be for sale or for rental and things of that nature. So when we do have that assessment, those are the qualifying questions as well. What do you see yourself in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because the other thing is it's an investment,
Mhm.
so part of having me here is part of the investment, but then also how do we enhance the space? Is it worth enhancing? Will you be able to get the your return on this investment if we do XYZ? Do we need to do a temporary fix or do we need to do a permanent fix? So that's another reason why I'm not for everybody, because that that can't just fit to me in one box. That
Right,
has to have a conversation to be had. And because everybody don't go through this, frequently, it's the thing of I need to be there to kind of explain it and walk you through it, to a certain extent, because you don't know what you need. I
right.
know what you may need, but we need to have this conversation as well as see this space so then we can put that together and put a plan in action together.
And then I was thinking about as you were talking too, you mentioned earlier, like even with so making sure that it's the right fit with you and the client.
Hmm.
But also to your point about, for instance, the cleaning solutions that you use. Now,
Hmm.
everybody may not, I mean, we know that, when you read the label, that certain that cleaning solutions, are harmful if ingested or what have you. But then there are so many different chemicals, even when mixed together,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Together that we could be doing harm to ourselves and the people in our homes or in our work environment or what have you. What, in terms of your utilizing certain products, do you lean more towards those eco-friendly products? Are there, how do you get your clients to understand the importance of, I guess, I don't know if allow is the right word to use, but allowing you to use what you deem to be the appropriate cleaning solutions, because I imagine that you're also with this concerned about their health and well-being, because there may be things that they don't know that they're causing harm
Hmm.
themselves. So can you kind of speak to that in terms of how did you um, um, shift your focus in terms of that eco-friendly type of,
So one of it is the language and the verbiage is communicated on my communications when you visit any social media sites for me. Also, any marketing materials, so like on my car, eco-friendly, green cleaning. So I'm using the words to let them know I'm health and wellness is always in the forefront. The second part of it is alignment. So if I got a referral, my previous customer has already told you what I do, how I do it. So I let other people speak for me. So that's another reason why I always speak of alignment, because I'm 99% of my business is referral based. And so um that's huge for me because my clients are also considering their health and wellness as well, or they're looking forward to learning more about how can they become better healthy for themselves too. So that's when again paying attention to detail. So hey, I see this type of medicine here. I see you going through this. I'm not being nosy, but I'm observant. Let's have a conversation about this. Did you know XYZ product can also be fluctuating this for you? Hey, I see so perfect example, asthma pumps, or a Bruterol, that's for asthma. So if you have asthma now, and I see all these toxic chemicals underneath your bathroom cabinet or underneath your kitchen cabinet, that's when I'm having a conversation of the awareness. Are you aware that this is inducing the risk of, or this is also causing some of your health issues of having asthma? If you are, when a person may have allergies to certain things? Have you noticed when you're using these type of products that you are having frequent breakouts and things of that nature? So that's why I say I'm not just a typical cleaner just coming in cleaning. I'm actually giving more knowledgeable awareness of what type of service you'll receive that goes beyond me. And even if you don't go with me, still you have this information to do better, for yourself and for your family too.
Right. I mean, I can appreciate the fact that, from the attention to detail and being observant of what's in the space and then being able to provide the recommendation, to your clients about here's what you need to consider. I think that shows the type of person you are in terms of caring for the individuals that you're servicing, as well as wanting to make sure that people are living healthier lives.
Yep, yep. And I always explain to my clients too, when they do onboard me, is hey, this is like we in a relationship now. We're dating.
Mhm.
So as the dating phase go, we have to communicate often. I'm not perfect. I'm not a cookie cutter service. However, I fit your needs. But if there's and I try to go above those needs, because most people don't know what they need all the time until they get it. And they're like, oh man, wow. It's the wow factor.
Mhm.
However, I always say we're dating, and as we're dating, this relationship grows, and this is an intimate dating too. So although we're dating, I'm kind of a little standoffish. I could be a little aggressive to certain things too. Also, I'm almost like your gynecologist. I'm gonna be in your business, not to the sense of being disrespectful, but again, I want to bring health, wellness into your environment. I want to bring harmony into your environment. I want to again help you beyond me.
Yeah.
So even if it goes to you maintaining yourself, then now you know the tools that you have and that I left you with, that now you can have more knowledgeable experiences of how you clean. As women, we have headaches a lot of times. So where does this headache stem from? And a lot of times it is the chemicals that's in our house. We have these things that are burning. We have things that are plugged in. We're wearing these scents, we're wearing lotion. So again, all those things absorb in our pores. They're getting into our blood. They're going through our nostrils, again, get into our bloodstream. So what is it? When it gets to cleaning, people mixing chemicals. You're not knowing that you're not supposed to mix it, but it's, let me do a little bit of this, let me add a little bit of that, and voila, girl, I got this potion I put together, and they get my sink cleaned out like this, just like that, girl. I ain't got, you're making a chemical bomb,
Yeah.
and we just don't know. You're getting lightheaded because you don't even have no ventilation going on.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times we see commercials, and that's the thing too. With us seeing the commercials aren't doing nothing but manipulating our mind. So now it goes, Mr. Clean, and you singing it, you walking
Yeah.
in there, there they go. That's that fresh new scent they was talking about. Let me add this in the cart, so it's just impulse.
Yeah.
Impulse. You're at home, it's set in the head. Now you go outside, impulse.
You're absolutely right. Um, and now, one thing that I think you kind of touched upon, or I will say alluded to, in terms of working with your clients to let them know what's harmful, what's appropriate, or what they should be using or considering to use in their home. But you do, aside from working with individuals in terms of helping them to improve, you know, um, the cleaning process or organizational process in their homes, do you do this type of, I guess, training, or, on a larger scale with organizations or groups? Um, do you have a class for children, for teenagers?
So that's in the works right now, actually.
Okay.
That's in the works. So in addition to Meika's, I've also been a franchise owner as well, for several years too. So that's the insight of a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
But just how I gained so much knowledge throughout the years. I have so many different certifications in my industry as well. So when COVID came, I was mandated by my great aunt to come move in with my grandfather. I
Mhm.
was then told what I can't do. And so it was just like, what do you mean I can't operate my business? So that's when it came to how can I still do what I love? And I've been thinking about teaching for several years. And
Mhm.
so at that time, that's when it was like, let me get more adamant about it. I had little in and out things. So now I am doing certifications for environmental engineers. I do work with organizations in regards to doing it. So I host a class that is ongoing for several weeks for a couple of hours a day, and it just teaches everything about cleaning, teaches the process of cleaning, gives a lot of different history about different things too. But upon completion, they're getting certified, which they'll be able to go and get a job. So, as everybody in the world wants to create bosses, I want to recreate our workforce. I want to be more impactful for our workforce because everywhere we go, we need to see a clean, sanitized, and disinfected space.
Right.
So, when COVID came out, I heard cleaning off viruses, infections, and diseases. That's what I heard. And then the next step was everywhere I went was filthy. So we have, when you walk out of your door, streets and sanitation is taking care of the streets and the sidewalks. When you get on public transportation, maintenance is taking care of that. When you go into the grocery store, again, maintenance. So every sector, every building that we have and we touch has to be clean. There's so many different jobs that are within the industry. However, it's not a love for it for everyone. So what I thought about was, if I am intentional about these classes, now I am creating this resource, but I'm also creating this environment of more people to clean, more people to understand how important it is. And the future of what I want to do with that is change the policy so we're not blue collar individuals workforce. We are health and wellness
Yeah.
because we are right there with keeping things germ free. And so if you get sick, first thing is connected to is your environment.
Right.
Somebody cough, you touch something. And then the next portion that is connected to is inside your guts. So how did it get there? Through your mouth, through your nose, through your eyes. And a lot of times that's from the dust, that's from the dirt. So all those things have to be sanitized. And so, how does it become sanitized? Us understanding we need the people to do it, but also giving the respect of giving these individuals an actual, not minimum wage, but a living wage because it's hard work. That's one thing about cleaners. Oh my God, it's hard work. Like, that's
Mhm.
when I gained a little weight too. When I stopped cleaning as often, because you're working every muscle in your body from your fingertips down to your toes. So when people hire a cleaning service, like, respect that person for their time, but also their body. They're putting a lot of stress on their body, like
Yeah.
your back, your shoulders. If you can afford it, give tips of, let me send you to the spa.
Mhm.
Let me send you for let me send you get your feet rubbed, your hands massaged because it's stressful,
Yeah.
and it's hard on the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I have trust me. Well, I know you know better than me because I can, there are times that I, have gone and done like this deep clean in my home or tried to organize, and then I'm exhausted. So I
Hmm.
can't even imagine, you know, if this is the field or the industry that I'm in, like you said, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body anyway.
Hmm.
So,
And your health. That's how I started with the green cleaning because
mhm,
I was so when I started over 20 some years ago, I'm shameful to say this, but I was smoking cigarettes. And
mhm,
so I was like, why is this cigarette tasting like bleach? Like, and
mhm,
then I'm eating my food, and I'm like, why is my hands? It was just like a awakening for me,
mhm,
and that's when I was like, I gotta figure something else. I had this cough, and it was really just the toxins sitting on my lungs, that fleeing. I had the mucus. And so that's, again, my body was attacked. So if you're looking to be more healthier, you understand mucus is the stem of a lot of different things that can go wrong with you too. So when I started seeing that I was having this, I was like, I need to get some alternatives here. That's efficient and it's safe for me. It's safe for my clients, their kids, their pets. And so that's when I started researching more and more and been on this journey over 10 years of what can be useful and not harmful for my health. My face was breaking out. I'm like, you mean to tell me I just got to my 30s and now I got acne? Like,
Mhm.
why? Like, for what? But it was really just the toxins on my hands and me touching my face. And then just because I'm sweating, my pores is open
Mhm.
and I'm not around it for an hour, 2 hours. I'm spending 12-hour shifts, sometimes 14, 16 hours inhaling these chemicals. And then even to the point when managing and overseeing my teams, it was the same thing too. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're misusing this. You're not using this correctly. But again, I'm sick just coming walking in 2 minutes. So just because it smells good, it doesn't mean that it's good for us.
Right. No, that's absolutely, absolutely right. One thing that I want to ask, there are actually two questions, but how would you, because I alluded to this earlier when I said that, in our community, when we talk about having someone come clean our home, then sometimes we're criticized by our moms or our grandmothers or what have you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but I guess what would you say, how has, well, I can imagine that having a clean environment, clean and well organized space should make you feel a lot better.
Hmm.
Um, but for those who may not understand how important that is and what impact it does have on you, not just, I guess, emotionally or, personality wise, but your overall kind of mental and physical health, because I know that there are times that when I'm looking at something that I know I need to kind of organize, get done, sometimes it can become very overwhelming,
Hmm.
and cause a whole lot of anxiety because I'm thinking about, like you mentioned earlier, when you're trying to do something on your own at home, you think of everything else that you could be doing,
Yep.
including organizing and decluttering.
Yep.
But how important is having, a clean, organized space?
So
Um,
my motto is having a clean and organized space touches your overall health and wellness, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. The spiritual part I can always get an analogy of, how when you grab a basket of clothes that are dirty and
mhm,
it's heavy, and then you wash the clothes and you dry the clothes and you put them back in that same basket and it's lighter.
yeah,
It's the same thing as when your space is clean from top to bottom, when it's organized, you feel the weight. The room is lighter. Like you feel the shift. So that's like the spiritual being to a degree. And then you're allowed the spiritual world to kind of open up for you too. You know, when it goes to financial, now it goes to like if you're just impulsive buying,
mhm,
it goes to waste of money. I had some black pants, but I don't know where they at. And then when you look up, you got 6 black pants because it's been 6 different times you didn't know where those pants were. You
right,
know, or when you're buying things on clearance, on sale, when you go to the grocery store, you're just buying food, but you're not cooking the food, you're not using the food. So then you open up your cabinet or your pantry, you got these cans that have bursted. Why? Because you're pushed them to the back and then you're putting the new stuff in the front, and then you're still going to buy new stuff, instead of shopping within your pantry. So those are things also that like I help assist my clients too of, are you creating grocery lists? We have gotten to a point that we've gotten away from writing things down, but I'm still kind of old school. Let me write out this grocery list. Let me open up these cabinets. Let me look into the pantry. Let me look in the refrigerator and the freezer to see what can I add on that's already here to make a meal,
Mm,
or when you are shopping. I'll also teach my clients too, or when you come to my class, how are you creating that list? So if you are buying a 10-pound thing of ground turkey, now you got turkey chili. Now you can make tacos, now you can make spaghetti. Now you can make lasagna. Like you have so many meals that you can make from that one meat that could take you a long way. So it's budgeting out for you. When it goes to emotion, um, a lot of things that we hold on to also hold weight. So because it holds weight, it makes us emotional. It takes us on that emotional roller coaster. It gives us that memory. And sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. And sometimes they just like, I don't know. But it's still that attachment. When it comes to physical, there's
mhm,
no way around it. Cleaning is physical labor. However, when you're also maintaining, you're not allowing it to be so harsh on you. So now you're able to physically be able to move and not be overwhelmed and not wanting to push through and to do it. So that's why, in my opinion, it hits all those different aspects of your life.
mhm.
Have you ever had a cleaning service yourself?
I have.
How
And
was that experience? What did you do?
w- well, real talk. First, I said I got to clean for the cleaning person.
That's good though. But why did you say that though?
Because so I know um where things go or some things I just don't want to just leave out because I don't want them to say, "Oh, let me toss this," or especially if we haven't communicated about
Uh-huh.
it. But I will also say that psychologically, I don't want to be judged. Like, why does this lady have all this mail? Or,
but see, this is me as the organizer. Is
mhm.
you eliminating that mail? Is you taking it and banding it together in a rubber band and stuffing it away hidden somewhere? So that's me. I'm the like I say, I get intimate with my clients.
Yes, yes,
I be wanting to help my clients. I always tell people, if you want the 2 hour service, don't ever, ever, ever call me. Don't ever look for my team unless it's really that we could get in 2 hours and it's a
yeah,
couple of us there. But we're not in and out because
no,
that ain't to me, that's not helping you.
right. No, you're absolutely right. And as I'm thinking about, so I've gone reflecting on how long I've been in the place where I live now, for example.
Hmm.
I moved in, I downsized now it's been 10 years. And at the time that I transitioned into my home, I didn't get rid of, I'm just thinking about like, I still,
You
and this,
still got right. I was waiting on that. I was gonna ask you, what do you
ooh,
still have packed up? What are you still holding on for 10 years? Because once again,
yeah,
you downsize, especially if you
yeah,
cut it your size in half or
I did.
whatever square footage you lose, it'd be a loss because it'd be like, I already was outgrowing this space.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, and this is full transparency. I have, and it's not even in my house, it's in my garage, right?
Mm.
I have um our wedding pictures, right? I had like this big, huge frame, had all of the different wedding pictures. And it's like, my thought was, I'm going to keep this so that my children could see that their parents were once, happy and in love, and they
They don't even care.
they don't care. They don't care. So
So,
having this,
but the real attachment to is I did this. I spent this money on this, and I just can't let it go. That's the real reality, and the kids too. The
yeah,
kids too.
yeah,
But
yeah.
after you found out the kids didn't care, it's just the point of
I just need
I
to,
just didn't get rid of it yet.
And you know what? Tomorrow's garbage pickup day.
Mm.
So
So what you gonna do?
I'm getting ready to take some of that stuff and put it outside. No, seriously.
I'm
Because
glad.
no, it's like, why am I holding
See
on?
why I like to have conversations with my clients? Because even if they say I'm not going with her, you're going to leave with something that's going to be beneficial for you. I don't want to be transactional with my clients. I want to be transformative. And
Mhm.
that's what I want to do. I want to transform lives. There's nothing wrong with anybody getting prepared for the cleaner because I always say I'm partnering with you.
Yeah.
I cannot be your whole. The second part of it is um, I keep it real with my clients. How long did it take you to create this mess? How long
Right.
have you been sitting in this mess? The other thing is how many people live in this household? I'm
Mhm.
only one person. My
Right.
team is one or two or
Mhm.
four. However, it took time. So as it took time for this to happen, it's going to take time to break it down for it to get back right.
Right.
This other portion of it is help me help you.
Yeah.
So I when clients do something, it shows me that they're appreciative. Once again,
Mhm.
I don't want your money.
Yeah.
I want to assist you and help you. So only way I can do that is if we're in partnership. So if you did the small thing of I know I got toddlers and you got to vacuum this floor and I picked up the toys. That's good because we're using your vacuum cleaner. You
Mhm.
shouldn't want your nothing to be sucked up in your vacuum cleaner. The second portion of it is when I see you have toddlers, I'll say, hey, are you planning to clean up some? Did you know as young as your child is walking, they are able to put things up? I've seen it myself. I did it with my own kids.
Mhm.
All we have to do is teach them. And then once we teach them, oh, my granny was so big on it. Everything has a home. Don't
Yeah.
just put it anywhere. Put it where you got it. Put
Yeah.
it back where you got it from. But as adults, we kind of like that,
Yeah.
because if you don't put it back where it belongs, what are you doing? You're wasting time looking for it.
Yes.
So that's what that's so those are questions I ask too. Are you late for work? How
Mhm.
often are you late for work? Are you always running behind? What do
Mhm.
you got on your plate?
Well, I know somebody who lives in my home who needs to meet with you, and it's not me. Um, I just had someone to ask me, "Have you seen my such and such?" And that was just this morning, and I just kind of looked, and they were like, "Why you look at me like that? Like, why would I see? No, I haven't." But
and they spend hours
mhm,
and days and hours and days, and then it be hidden in the mound somewhere, and you be like why,
right,
why, you
if
know?
then you'll know where it is at. But yeah, I find myself saying everything has a place. But I also think we I don't know. I don't know if we're just exhausted with the whole, beating a dead horse for lack of better terminology, that we just let things go. I don't know. I know for me, sometimes it could just be I don't have that much energy to continue to repeat myself. And then I don't want to be a micromanager, although I think I am a micromanager and I try not to be. But if I got to stand over you and to say, do XYZ, put this up so you'll know where it is so you can get organized. But maybe, you know, we need to learn some organization. Maybe we need somebody else to teach us. I think my youngest.
I think it goes twofold, because we have to just think about people.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world. You have managers, you have
Mhm.
supervisors, you
Mhm.
have the founders, you have the owners, and then you have the people that just work. You have the people that just work and say, "I don't never want to be anything of leadership."
Mhm.
So who are they? They're the ones who need to be micromanaged, and sometimes we discover that and not discover it within our kids. My
Mhm.
son, he has to be micromanaged.
Mhm.
My daughter, to a degree of cleaning, she has to be micromanaged to a portion. I don't know, because she treated the space that we live together totally different than she treats her own space. So I'm gonna see how this goes too. But and then with my grandpa, yeah, I just gotta turn my head. Like I don't I can't just keep on and then like you're adult. You're a
Yeah.
full grown adult, you know. You don't so it's just about how people are. And
Mhm.
as much as you instill in them, it's just like a parent. You were raised with the same parents, and each kid is different,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just finding out what strokes it. You know, with my son, oh, okay, let me turn off this Wi-Fi. Let me get
Mhm.
that phone. Let me get that game up out of you. Oh,
Mm.
you thought you were going to go to XYZ restaurant? Nope, that's not happening. And
Mm.
if it gets drastic, no parties. You
Yeah.
know, taking away those privileges that is extracurricular because what I always say is you're going to be grown one day. And
Right.
so you're going to have to follow rules, but you're going to have to take care of yourself and your own household. And then the eye opener for a lot of children too when they get ready to graduate and go off to school. My
Mhm.
daughter, oh my God, mom, my roommate, they XYZ. Oh my God, mom, this roommate to my friend, they XYZ. How they don't know better about this? And it's like everybody does not have the capacity or the tools or the resources or the upbringing, you
Mhm.
know, for one. And then some people it's just nasty,
Yeah.
you know. But when you're in that community shower and you seeing all this stuff that should be in a garbage can, that should
Mhm.
be inside a body, that should be
Right.
in underwear out exposed,
Yeah.
you know, who lost the oh, wrap that up in some newspaper. You know, I was called old, wrap that up in some newspaper, ball that up,
Mhm.
add a little piece of tissue over it. You know, nobody should know what you got going on in your personal life.
Lord, I swear it seems like you have been looking at my text messages with my daughter.
But
'Cause
that's what I mean. This is life. So that's when
yeah,
and when you had these conversations, you're like, oh, thank God I ain't the only one. But
yeah,
ooh, these kids is just getting on my nerves.
yeah,
And we didn't and I think with our generation of parents, we didn't have all this back and forth.
right.
It
No,
it was it was it was not a conversation. It was a statement and it was an order to be made
that's right.
and action had to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, we play the same song over and over. So that's when the overwhelming gets because it's like, I know I just told you this.
Right.
I just told you this. So now you're getting like, so you're not even respecting what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I think it's something with the giving them voice to have an opinion or thought or
I
something.
I believe that is truly part of it. Like your voice and your opinion should not matter because this would matter for real. And now because you got this voice and opinion, my
Right.
my my words ain't even being heard.
Yeah.
Because the way the tone I said, we done got to the point because I told you you got to go wash them dishes right now. Oh my God, the tone you said had hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And now you explaining yourself
Yes.
about why you had to say go wash the dishes like this
Mm.
and the dishes never get washed.
Yeah. Mhm. Ooh, we got some work to do.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's get to work. Yes. And keep in touch with us, y'all. I do have something that will be coming along to assist parents in this struggle that we have to get our kids back in order, get chores back in order.
Well, listen, we need it. So when you that means so this is perfect opportunity for me to ask you to come back so we can talk about that. I mean, because we still have some more ground that we can cover, but I do want to make sure that folks know how they can reach you. I know that a lot of the majority of your clientele are referrals, but who
Hmm.
knows? You've got some people who are watching this right now who are probably aligned with the way you do business and need your expertise. So, why don't you tell folks how they can reach you if they would like to schedule a consultation or an assessment to determine if you guys are a good fit?
Okay. And then also in reference to that, I'm just not a residential commercial cleaner too. I am also certifying environmental engineer. So I'm teaching, I'm coaching, I'm speaking as well too. So even for corporate as well, anyone or for company, um, that doesn't have to be that to that meticulous of the alignment. Just seeing how we can be a good fit on what needs to be done. So for to get in touch with me, you can look me up on all social media through Tameika Hinton, TameikaHinton, or you can send me an email at cleaning@meikainc.com, as well as my websites is www.meikainc.com, and that's MEIKAINC.com. And I didn't get a chance to talk or discuss about, but in reference to the environmental engineer, their support personal and professional development, and that's with TT, and that's TETEDU .org. So tt.edu.org for that one. And then for the certification is Meika Work, and that's MEIKA.work. MEIK.work. So those are all my ways. And good old fashion phone call.
Well,
And
what's the phone number so they can call just in case they want to call?
that is 773-619-2966. Again, 773-619-2966.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Like I said, I feel like in some ways you're in my household. But no, this was really good because I think sometimes we just don't think about the importance in that way of just organizing our lives so that we can have a better life.
Mhm.
We're all so very busy and just, constantly on the go, but our homes should be our sanctuary. And then even in the places in which we work, I would hope
Yes,
that as well, that we've got, the organized space in the place that we're spending the majority of our time, you know.
exactly. Yep.
So for you business owners, or even as you mentioned with the residential piece, property, contact Meika so
Yes.
that she can get you all together and talk about ways in which you all can strategize and work together for a healthier lifestyle. So thank you so much, Tameika, for
Thank
being.
you, Dr. Muhammad.
Really appreciate you for joining me this week. And I'll say happy Women's History Month to you. Continue.
Yeah, same to you too. Thank you for all that you do. You wear many hats too. So thank you for all that you
Look,
do.
I'm trying to take this cape off. Just,
Take it
hey,
off.
hey, that was I received that message. But thank you all so very much for tuning in to this week's episode of Light It Up. I hope you can join me next week to see who I have as a very special guest. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on all streaming platforms, and we're also on YouTube. So that's Light It Up, LITEITUP. So until next time, don't forget to continue to light it up and shine bright like a diamond. Thanks for joining me this week on Light It Up. Make sure you visit my website at www.lightituppodcast.com or www.aginahmuhammad.com. You can also find me on social media using the handle at Light It Up Podcast. If you like what you've heard, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, I'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or you can simply tell a friend about the show. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday for a new episode. Until next time, light it up and shine bright like a diamond.